The subject of today is social involvement. And very often the educational system sees social involvement as an additive. And usually the social involvement is something which is done extracurricular out of the school. And it is something that the school gauges to a certain degree, but it's not something that the school sees as a primary educational tool. It's very interesting. We have a Mishnah in the Ethics of Our Fathers that teaches us 48 necessities in order to properly study the Torah. One of these 48 ways is dibuk chaverim, social interaction and involvement, the formulation of a cohesive social network. It's very interesting. Very often educators see the students involved in Facebook, or the parents will see their children just on Facebook and see it as a worthless tool. Whereas the social involvement of a person is an integral piece of his education. Dibuk chaverim, social involvement, is mentioned as one of the 48 ways, together with Talmud, studying, yeshiva, sitting, understanding and learning. All of these are all part of a process, and social involvement is all part of this process. I believe that the educators and the parents cannot leave this social involvement to just be and grow and develop on its own. It's something which is a primary educational tool and therefore has to be embraced by the educational system. It has to be taken up by the schools, and the schools have to have an active involvement and care very much about the social involvement of the kids. They have to make sure that the social involvement of the students is healthy, and that as a group, the students and the student body and the student social scene are going in a good direction and bringing all of those involved in a mutual, healthy search for enhanced knowledge. Very often, a social system can be detrimental to a student. But those who want to take a student away from a social system have to know that social systems are strong, and very often stronger than the educator. And it's easier to educate an entire social body than to educate one student. Turn your back to your social body and come to me. And the way to properly deal with a student is by seeing him not as an individual, but by seeing him as a social animal, by seeing him as a person who is involved in a social system, by wanting to educate the entire social system, and by seeing the entire social system as the design of your desire for education, you will be able to properly help each individual in that system.